A major shakeup in the closely watched Democratic gubernatorial race in Wisconsin, where Mandela Barnes, the state's former lieutenant governor, just announced he is suspending his campaign ahead of the August 11th primary. The move comes as new polling shows 37-year-old state representative and Democratic Socialist candidate Francesca Hong surging to the top of a crowded primary field over more establishment candidates. Joining me now is Francesca Hong, and we are very pleased that you made time for us today. And obviously, with this big change in the race you're competing in, I want to start with that. Your opponent, Mandela Barnes, is dropping out. What is your reaction, and are you seeking his endorsement?
The Barnes campaign has run a progressive movement-centered campaign, and our deepest respects to his campaign team. And we look forward to continuing our grassroots organizing forward campaign.
And are you going to seek his endorsement?
At this time, I am undecided.
Okay. Let's move to the issue that is on the minds of many people. And we hear a lot about labels, and we hear a lot about the progressive energy in the Democratic Party in a number of races. And some polls are saying that while you're surging in the primary, there may be some information when you look at other surveys about that label, Democratic Socialist, attached to your name and your vision, that could be a problem for you. So what would you say to voters in Wisconsin, a state that sometimes votes Republican, sometimes votes more to the left? How are you going to address that?
We have built a statewide coalition with voters in every corner of Wisconsin, independents, moderates, Republicans, Democrats, who are with us on the issues. I am focused on ensuring that we are an administration that is focused on delivering for working class Wisconsinites, not on the labels. And whether it comes to a moratorium on data centers, raising the minimum wage, ensuring that we're investing in our public schools and taxing the wealthiest and mega corporations. Ours is a campaign that continues to run on the important issues impacting Wisconsinites every day.
And defining yourself for voters in your home state is certainly critical. The national DSA has recently passed a platform that including things like abolishing the Senate, prisons, and ICE. You say that you don't agree with some parts of their national platform. Are you trying to have it both ways by embracing that label, but also backing away from some aspects of the platform?
So I do not have the endorsement from the national DSA and this recent platform that was released. There are issues that I disagree on, but my values and my principles are rooted in democracy, in fairness, in human rights, and ensuring that we are fixing a rigged system that doesn't put working class people first. And we are a campaign focused on the work and the workers.
So you may distance yourself from the national party, but you do consider yourself a Democratic Socialist, right?
Yes, because it allows me to make sure that the policies that we are supporting, the universal policies that will build permanent affordability, universal child care, paid leave for all, investing in that care economy with minimum wage and raising that minimum wage and strengthening unions by repealing Act 10. These are policies that are rooted in democratic socialism, something that our state has a deep history in. And if you look at where sewer socialism was born in Milwaukee, this was a government that ensured people had everyday needs met, and things like trash pickup to making sure that our Packers, our publicly owned NFL team, these are things that progressives and Wisconsinites all across the state are proud of.
But you also have called for abolishing the police and ICE. That's a piece of what that political ideology is about, too, is it not?
Well, ICE is a rogue agency and an enforcer of fascism, and I believe that it is an agency that indeed needs to be abolished. And I'm going to be a governor that is most serious about being serious about public safety, where we actually invest in our communities and we are tough on the causes in order to be tough on crime, preventing guns from being off the street, taking guns off the street, making sure we're investing in victim services, and that people who are incarcerated or work in the prisons are able to work and live with dignity.
How would you describe yourself as being different from the views held by the Democratic Party?
I'm the only wage worker in the race, a single mom and proud daughter of immigrants. And I believe that relatability, that ability to have conversations with anyone and everyone. We're campaigning in dive bars and bowling alleys and making sure that working class people who are demanding a new politics knows that they have a fighter and someone who is fighting for them and alongside them in the work to actually build a government that is a force of good.
There has been a lot of talk this year across the country in really sort of assessing where is the Democratic Party in a year where Democrats may do well based on just the nature of the political moment. Do you think the Democratic brand is a good one, or is it ready for some fixing?
We're excited to help strengthen the Democratic Party by building the big tent that we know that we can be, building durable Democratic power by fighting to make sure that we win the trifecta by having a Democratic majority in both the Assembly and the Senate. And with a bold progressive governor, I believe that we can really do the good work in making sure that we're helping working class folks improve the material conditions of their lives, whether it be with free childcare or making sure we've got fair taxes. We're investing in our rural roads and helping our farmers. These are all things that many of my Democratic colleagues and I have a shared interest in being able to actually focus on improving lives. And I think that the Democratic brand or the party, I'm most interested in making sure that folks who are a part of that party know that we can do better and we will do better when we have a diverse coalition that is multi-generational, multi-zip code, and multi-ethnic. And that is the coalition that our campaign is building. And I believe we've earned the excitement of voters who are often harder to reach, people who may not have voted in 2024 or differently from the Democrats. And I think that's what's exciting right now, is that this is a movement moment. And I believe that our campaign is meeting that moment, and I'm the leader to meet that moment.
And your campaign, meaning the broad contest for those seeking the primary nomination, is in some flux now. So let's go back to where we started. Mandela Barnes dropping out of the race. And you said to me that you weren't certain yet if you would seek his endorsement. Why is that?
I think right now we want to focus on growing our volunteer community and the people who are organizing with us. I'm incredibly proud that this campaign has already knocked 100,000 doors, that we are hosting events that are fun and joyful and that engage people in being a part of building democratic power here in our state. This is where our campaign will continue to focus on and make sure that we have the resources that we need to defeat Tom Tiffany, who is someone who supports an abortion ban. He's a pedophile protector. He is a traitor to this country by denying who won the 2020 election. And Wisconsinites deserve someone who's going to put Wisconsinites first and not Trump first. Mr. Mining is the weakest candidate the Republicans could put forth. And we are focused on making sure that we have a Democratic trifecta in the legislature as well as the governor's office. And we actually focus on delivering for Wisconsinites, that we're putting them first.
So you're clearly distancing yourself against the lieutenant governor. How will you attract his voters?
I think we will focus on welcoming everyone to our movement, that our shared interest and shared values in moving the Democrats to a more progressive position, one that is building that big tent diverse coalition. And we are certain that many of the former lieutenant governor's supporters share our values and the values of Wisconsinites, which is that we work hard, we hustle, we care about taking care of ourselves and our loved ones. And I plan to be the person who is going to out hustle folks in this race and make sure that Wisconsinites know they have someone who's going to work harder for them than any other governor.
Francesca Hong, thank you for making time to talk with us and to share your views today, especially on a pivotal day in the contest. We'll be watching your race closely.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.